Hey, what's up y'all? Skeets here, Mushroom Compadres, on the beautiful outdoor Mushroom Compadres market garden and experimental farm. This morning we're gonna give you a tour of what's going on in this hot, dry, dusty time of year. Welcome. But first, I need to introduce you to the spice of life. The chili, much feared, much revered. It's hot.
Oh.
Just like Portugal.
Dude.
All right. Well, hey, I wanted to get a few more of these peppers before we're done. I forget the name of these, so we're gonna have to rename them. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to rename all the peppers because I lost track of the names. So, all right, so also what's cool, man, is you hear the water turning on. We had a slight problem with the water. Stefan, cameraman, fixed it. Thanks for that, by the way. Let's go take a tour of the whole thing. These are our two worm bins. We are extremely amateur worm farmers. These bins, it's like our micro livestock. We need some help. We need some help with the worms. I'm gonna call back in the worm guru and add some more capacity and get our system better, because there's some worms still alive. This one, I don't know actually. I'm scared to look in there. And this one definitely smells like it's anaerobic and gross. Worms are true aerobes, they need oxygen. We need to get our game strong. Compost, worms, microbial teas, all those kind of things. That's our next step, because our soil is still struggling. We need organic matter and compost and the biology. Yeah, as I said earlier, we're gonna be going to the mushroom factory later this morning to see the wonders of technology. Here is the spent substrate. We're growing the mushrooms in these unicorn bags. It has a little filter, inoculate the substrate, it colonizes, takes over, we open it, they fruit. And this is the waste product. Unfortunately, it is a lot of plastic. There's no way around it right now. But we take the substrate and we're putting this back into the dirt. So this is carbon. It's been inoculated with the mycelium. Mycelium then fruits. And so we have this source of carbon and fungus to put back in the ground. But we're having a hard time composting it because it's so fine. It does go aerobic when you pile it up and compost it. So we need to tinker with our substrate recipe maybe to change that. This is a great source of organic matter though, and we're gonna use it to the fullest. Back to the farm tour. This is the most arid part of the property. So we have 6 swales and some trees and desert kind of bushes that like not too much water. So the almonds, they're doing pretty good. We have some oregano, some herbs. This salvia is looking great. I mean, look at this. I love it. Yeah, salvia, white sage, kitchen sage, culinary sage. And then look at this massive almond. This is 1 year old or planted last year. What I'm really excited about though, don't forget, we still need to get this soil amended. But look at this. These are so interesting. The goji berry, native to northern China. Super sweet, tastes great. Actually tastes really good. And when you dry them, it's just like the goji berries you find in the store. So that's exciting. This driest part of the property, we have almonds, some deserty kind of things, Mediterranean herbs. And it's, this is a low visit kind of portion of the property. There might be a week or two when no one comes up here. Same with the wild strip. The wild strip is on the southern part of the property. It's like 5 meters wide, 200 meters long, and that's just native trees. Native trees, some herbs. Eventually that'll be a nice little strip of forest, biomass, shade, ecosystem services, something to break up the monotony of the flatlands. From the western section, the edge of the property, we're gonna kind of drop more into the central part. We have the first swales. These swales were meant to have citrus and guava on them. All the citrus and guava got hammered by the frost. So now we have something like this. The guava coming back from the roots, likely to die in the next frost. And we interplanted some other trees, but they're kind of struggling. Here's some poor artichokes that aren't getting enough water, and this bed is just kind of on autopilot as we wind down the summer. Same with all these swales here, except here's a paulownia, the paulownia tree. These things can grow like 3 meters in a year. Hopefully it makes a big, beautiful, shady addition to this section. We have a bunch of those. And look at what happens when you give artichokes water. Much healthier.
Huge.
Yeah, it's much healthier. Citrus, hopefully that thing does well this winter. And then here's the artichoke flowers. I don't see how to eat this, but look at this bee. A big old bumblebee just chowing down. That's great. I think part of the genius of this system is the diversity. There's something for everybody to eat and pollinate. Like I said, like my fertility is the main problem. We have this hard clay soil. It tends toward turning into bricks. It needs more organic matter. It doesn't really have much in here except some rocks and some clay. I think we failed our tomatoes a little bit. I realized we were giving half the water that we needed to the whole farm. So I boosted that. Maybe a little too late. But we've had our fair share of tomatoes so far, and there's more to come. The plants are kind of rebounding a little bit. Like I said, now we're just get through August, start prepping for September, October, and we'll do a lot of a cool weather crop to round out the year. I really like this bed. I mean, I like the tomatoes, don't get me wrong, but this one has some celery, some random squash kicking around. I think this is more like ornamental, you know, but we have a lot of butternut squash as well. Some lettuce. This is exciting to me. Once again, the hot peppers, I have some squash mixed in, some beets, but just some serranos. These pepper plants could be bigger, but they're coming. Habaneros, whew, we got some heat. That's what we're missing. Need some spice of life. It's also good for like masochistic macho challenges. Like, you know, when the cameraman needs to feel the pain of the spicy life. That's good for that. So, hot peppers, some onions, some peppers, some squash, more of a tomato zone. Once again, I really need to get my head around fertility, more compost, more organic matter, more microbial action. And one of our neighbors also said he wouldn't grow vegetables not covered. So he has hoop houses, and I'm sure the tomatoes would do a whole lot better, sheltered from the wind and with a little bit more diffuse light. But this is what we got. This is what we got. We're gonna do what we got with what we have. I made this thing like at the beginning of the summer, something to tie the tomatoes to. It works. But you know, once again, maybe if it had some kind of shade cloth on it, would really improve the production. Purple basil, watermelon, valerian root, some eggplant. Eggplant's looking real sick compared to last year. Coming through this is the bulk section of the beds, the central part. This will be a shade trellis structure that we can get a little more protection from the sun for nursery and working. The beds all recently got these awesome numbers. That was all kind of in my head. So we got them numbered, a little bit more organization. Excited about that. In general, I just see everything is like hanging on. It's getting hot, it's been super windy, and it's August. It's August in the Algarve. Next series of swales, I have some persimmons. They're hanging on, we planted those this year. Also some alfarobera, some carob. I mean, carob 10 years from now, maybe it'll start doing something. It takes forever. Yeah, that's one thing I really love about this project is geeking out on messing with plants, messing with life, seeing the miracle of growth and the cycle of life. It gets me going every time. It really does. And I'm outside, breathing the fresh air, not up there fighting that fire with the other 500 bomberos. Pretty good, life is good. These swales are still kind of like neglected. From here down, we have like half of the swales on the property are still just parked. More concerned about getting the market garden up and running. This is an ornamental plum tree, the purple thing. It's hanging on for dear life. One also really awesome thing that we got going, I got these agave salmiana from seed, and I've been growing them for the last 2 or 3 years as an experiment. Grow this thing up, you chop the pencas, the leaves, grind them up, and you can make silage for cows and goats and sheep. It's exciting. And you could also make agave nectar, you know, 10, 12 years. We can dig up the piña, the core, and it's full of sugar. So we can make tequila. My Paulownia babies, this is the best line of Paulownia, boom, boom, boom. Once again, I'm crossing my fingers that they can withstand the freeze. It said they could, but I don't see how. I really don't. These big soft leaves, how are they gonna withstand the frost? It said like -10 degrees centigrade or further. We have some sweet corn. This lower section is actually the most fertile part of the property, hence the reason why we're using it last. But got some sweet corn, some melons. This bed needs to be reboosted. And then my babies, the strawberries. This is one of my favorite parts of the property, just full berries. Fruit, 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 fruit. Delicious, clean, I love it. And then we just have the bottom swales, which are still in hibernation. I want to plant them out this fall, winter with things that don't need much water, so we don't have to use our precious water on too much of the trees. That's about it. That's about it today. This is the carob, slow growing tree, but it makes actually really valuable food. The pod is high in protein, it's sweet, so I think that might be helpful one day in Portugal. So that's what we're experimenting with. From all the mushroom compadres, big hug to you. Thanks for joining. Stay with us. Comment, reach out, spread the word. Let's get something going.